Hello guys, so this is the day 2 or here we are starting the machine learning preparation interview question. So today I am going to explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised machine learning algorithms. Okay, so this is the first video there I am the live, and here I am going to explain you the difference between. So today I am going to explain the first question that the interviewer may be asked. So basically first we start about conversation, like what the advantage of these questions, all of these firstly we can talk about it. So today I am going to start the machine learning interview preparation question. Here I am going to explain every day one or two questions every day, so that you can able to understand in-depth intuition and how to explain the interviewer about if they will ask something like this question. So today I am going to explain you the first question, that is what the difference between supervised and unsupervised machine learning algorithm. This is not the algorithm, like what is the difference between. So this question is the first question, and I think if you will do interview, then in 50% of interview they will ask you this question. This is the basics of every question. So now start. What is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning? So basically, now what is the difference between supervised and unsupervised? In supervised machine learning algorithms, you have a data that will be a labeled data set, and in other of like in other perspective, like in other what we say that like in supervised learning we have a labeled data. In other type of machine learning, this is unsupervised learning algorithm, you don't have the data is labeled. Okay, so this is the first difference. And the second difference is, you can say about the machine learning algorithms that you can use. So in supervised machine learning you can use linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, random forest. These are some machine learning algorithm that you can use, or deep learning you can use also. And others in other point, in unsupervised you can say about, like here in unsupervised you have to use like clustering algorithms. There are some, so these are some examples of clustering, as k-means clustering, db scan you can use, hierarchical clustering you can use, a priori algorithm you can use. So these are the some algorithms that you have to use. In supervised machine learning algorithm you have a feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanism means, you have, if you have a labeled data, then there is a feedback mechanism. Means suppose in other type of like algorithm machine learning, this is unsupervised, and in unsupervised you have a no feedback mechanism is there. Like now I am explaining why. So in supervised machine learning algorithm, what will have, you have a labeled data like corresponding x and y. X and y means they are independent and dependent variable. Suppose that okay, suppose this is an example. If you get if you give some hours to study, then depends on your hours of study you will get a marks. So if you will study more hours you will get a good marks. So this is the like example of supervised learning. Like you have a data set. Here you have a like independent both variables. So like labeled data means. Supervised learning is a feedback mechanism. How this is feedback mechanism? Okay, so after at the time of training your model, you like get a error, and then after, at the time of training, after first epoch, you will, after training the model, after first epoch you find the error. What is the error? What is the cost that our model is giving? So at the time you will find the cost or error of that model. So you will get some error, like suppose you will get some error, uh, then you will say that model, this is the high error, you have to back propagate. At the time of back propagation, what will have done, the bit will be uh, reinitialized. Reinitialize means in deep learning bit will be reinitialized, and in linear regression or logistic regression there is some algorithm, you have a gradient descent curve is there. So according to that, if you get a error, then in the second epoch what have to do, you have to find the other m value in gradient descent or in this deep learning algorithm. You have to apply like reinitialize the bits so that you will get a minimum error. Like you have given the feedback that I am getting a very high error, please minimize this error. So in the next steps, in the next step of what I have done, according to this algorithms, the bit in the second time the bit will be, the error will be minimized every times. If you apply again and again this algorithm, like running again and again epochs, then your bit will be adjusted in some way, in a manner that your error will be reducing. So that is the use of feedback mechanism. But in the other type of algorithm, this is unsupervised, here we don't have a feedback mechanism. You have to apply the algorithm, you will get some uh, clusters are there. Basically this will create a cluster, and according to cluster you have to say that okay, this is coming on this cluster and this is coming on this cluster. So basically you are in that group and you are in that group. According to that we have to apply. So in unsupervised, this is the difference between, you can say about, this is the three difference. Now coming to in depth of that. Okay, so supervised and unsupervised learning, understand the key differences. Supervised and unsupervised learning are two fundamental approaches in machine learning, each tackling different type of problems and utilizing data in unique way. So that means key supervised and unsupervised machine learning algorithms are fundamental approaches in machine learning, or they will solve a different kind of problem according to the data. You have to, if you get a data, then you have to think, can I use a supervised learning machine learning algorithm or unsupervised machine learning. So now coming to the data part, we have already discussed, if you have a data is labeled, then you have to apply a supervised, this is a supervised learning. And if the data is unlabeled data, then you have to apply a unsupervised machine learning algorithm. Or you can say that if you had unlabeled data, then your model is unsupervised learning. So whether data point predefined labels or categories. Think of analyzing customer purchase history. The algorithm identify pattern and grow customer based on the buying habit. And okay, so basically in this unsupervised there is an algorithm called a priori algorithm. Basically what this will done, here you don't have the labeled data. So what this algorithm will do, this will create a algorithm like that. In previous you have buy something like other customers have buy like peanut butter and jam, and other like some other customers buying peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and jam, peanut butter and biscuit, something like that. Then if you go to that shop, or here suppose that they have implemented a unsupervised machine learning algorithm called a priori algorithm in your system, and if you buy a peanut butter, then this will model or a priori algorithm will suggest you to buy the jam also. So here is the example, like here the data is unlabeled, like don't know what will be the predicted value. So here we have to apply like the, this data don't have the label. So here you can apply uncover hidden segment. Okay, now go. Coming to the goal part. Supervised learning aim to predict or classify new data based on the learning mapping. Okay. So like you have created a model that will detect email is spam or ham. So what will have this will do if you give a new data point, then the model you have trained already a model, then this will model will predict this is spam or not spam. If you have a level data, or this level data will come under the supervised machine learning algorithm. So after training, at the time of training, you don't have to do much work. You have to only like simple algorithms. You don't have if you don't have a good understanding of the other algorithms. Like if you want to learn unsupervised machine learning algorithms like k-means clustering, applied algorithm, then you have to know in-depth intuition about machine learning. And for applying all of this, you have to know very deep understanding. So if you are a beginner, then you can apply all of this algorithm. If you don't have data will be labeled, then you have to apply goes to the unsupervised learning algorithms, and here you have to know the in-depth intuition. Like in this part, you have discover hidden patterns and structures within the data. The customer segmentation model reveals group of customers with similar buying pattern. Already I have tried like a product algorithm. Here you have to apply the supervised learning algorithms. These are the examples you can do this, like spam filtering, image recognition, sentiment analysis, better forecasting, stock price prediction. You can do it, but don't do it stock price prediction because human can't able to do it. Then how machine can able to do it? Because here many other things are happened like market insider and many more things are there, so don't apply it. Or example of unsupervised learning, so customer segmentation, anomaly detection, dimensionality reduction, image clustering, market research. These are the examples you can do it by unsupervised learning. Anomaly detection means this note is fake or not, something like that. Because dimensionality reduction also you can do it. Dimensionality reduction means if you have a data set in supervised learning algorithm which contains 50 columns, and there is some correlation between these columns, like 30 columns are there which is highly correlated, approx 90%, then you have to apply dimensionality reduction on that column so that your model will be a simple. So here the unsupervised learning like dimensionality reduction algorithm you have to use. Like coming to the visualization here in supervised learning, a line or boundary separate the dot into spam and not spam region classification or predict. You can use like a linear line in supervised learning or dot. But here in unsupervised you can't, you have not a label data, so you have to do a clustering. So for clustering you have to do a circle clustering dot emerge the presentation group of email with similar content clustering or pattern. Okay, now coming to the key difference table. So again supervised here and unsupervised here. So coming to the data should be labeled, and in this unsupervised there should be unlabeled. The goal is to prediction and classification. Here pattern discovery, like you have to find a pattern like clusters here. Examples of the supervised spam filtering, image recognition, spam ham, something like that. Here customer segmentation, anomaly reduction, dimensional reduction. You can say visualization, learn boundaries, value cluster patterns, choosing the right approach. So the choice between supervised and supervised learning depend on the specific problem and data. If you have a label data, then clear prediction or classification goal. Supervised learning is a good fit. If you have a data is unlabeled, then if you want to uncover hidden inside of pattern, unsupervised learning is the way to go. Remember, these approaches often complicated each other. You can use unsupervised learning to explore data and identify potential labels, then use supervised learning to refine your predictions. Okay, so what we have to do, if you have a problem like unsupervised problem, here your data is not labeled. Firstly, apply unsupervised learning to find the cluster. Now you have a clusters like then suppose there is some cluster is created, other cluster is created, then you are after that finding the cluster you can apply a supervised learning on top of the unsupervised learning. They are the same, this they are the approach. So you have to find, firstly suppose you get a problem, then you have to think the data is labeled or not. If the data is labeled, then directly apply linear like supervised learning algorithm. If the data is unlabeled, then the right way is to apply unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning, there's some algorithm like Hemmings clustering, a priori algorithm, and some other algorithms are also there. So then you have to apply clustering algorithms. So thank you guys. That's it for today. I think I have covered this question in a right way. So please hit like to subscribe and also share this video as many as possible you can. Thank you guys. Jai Hind, Jai Ram, Jai Siya Ram. Thank you guys.